So I'm Anton Minkowski. I'm now in Salvador, in Brazil. I'm here already like almost 2 years, and I help companies, most of them foreign companies, to come to Latin American market or Asia market. So this is like my network where I help foreign companies to make connections with local one. So now I'm invite Jimmy to share with us about like how to work in this agriculture in Brazil, because he worked right now for agriculture, like one good and big company, and ask him questions related to agro industry in general. Maybe some of you also work in agriculture. You can ask more personal questions as well, like maybe to make some connections. I hope this event will be like successful and will grow and make other events like this.
Yeah. So yes, my name is Jimmy, as you know. Just so you know a bit about me. I'm from the UK, but I've been coming to Brazil for 20 years now. I first lived in Brazil for the first time 18 years ago, and after spending some time back in the UK, I moved back to Brazil 8 years ago. I have a number of different activities now here in Brazil. My original connection was actually as a missionary and starting a church. In recent years, I've branched out into other areas, real estate, helping foreigners acquire property or invest here in Brazil. And also now agriculture, doing mediation for an agriculture company here in Brazil that has 154 farms in its network spread out through Brazil. The company itself is based in the center of Brazil in Goiânia, which is like a real hub for agriculture businesses, nationally strategically placed in the center of Brazil. The company I work with is called Fazenda Rentavel, which means profitable farming. And what they do is they work with heirs to large agriculture families. The story of agriculture in Brazil is that it started in the south of Brazil, where the climate is more European. As you can see today, I have a coat on. I actually feel like I'm in England today because it's cold where I live in Santa Catarina. So the climate was traditionally more suited to European agricultures here, who would have emigrated to Brazil, beginning of the last century, cultivated principally Paraná, Santa Catarina, Rio Grande do Sul. Then there was like a migration of agriculture's people in that industry looking to expand their operations. So they went to the center of Brazil, Goiânia. And in recent years, they've been looking more to the north of Brazil and northeast of Brazil, as well, as that's like the new frontier of agriculture in Brazil. Land is in one sense is more challenging to cultivate there. It relies on irrigation, but actually once you are able to irrigate it, and that can be done in a sustainable way, you can actually produce perhaps more than you can in the south of Brazil. You can have up to 2, even 3 harvests a year with irrigation. So the company I work for, they help farms to vertically integrate. They will draw up, depending on the farm, its viability, what it can offer. They will come up with a project to make that farm more lucrative. We work both with crops, cattle as well, integrating both the taking charge of the running of the farm, and the relevant infrastructure that the farm needs, and any other businesses that can be generated with that. And we're also looking to more and more now as well to, with commodities, rather than just sell to traders, also link the farms now to wholesale buyers around the world, or even produce to demand. So let's say a particular country has a demand. India needs more chickpeas. We can designate part of our farmland to produce that, agreeing a price beforehand with the buyer. Does that help?
Yeah, it's good. Because like I need to be honest with you, I'm really far from agriculture and like understanding of industry. So I'm gonna ask you some really dumb questions just to understand
Yep.
how it works. And maybe some of guys who listen right now,
Mhm.
it will be helpful for them as well. So basically, as I understand, the company you represent right now, the main office
Mhm.
in the south of the Brazil, right? So the operation, the
Yes.
whole process in south, and the primary focus of the company is help, like they like as I understand, is a bunch of different farms combined together,
Mhm.
so they can work together, they can share some knowledge or like
Yep.
resources, whatever. Oh yeah, and they all Brazilians. So they all like owners of the farms. It's all Brazilians. The owner of the companies are Brazilians. Like you are the only one who's like foreigner, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Okay.
it's really for that to help internationalize the company. So liaising with foreign customers and business partners, because agro is the agri business here in Brazil is huge. You have to remember that in Brazil it's a third of the GDP, and 1 in 10 agriculture products around the world on our tables is from Brazil. But also Brazil, if its farmland was to operate at full capacity, even with a growing global population, Brazil could feed up to, being productive, 25% of the world's population, which is incredible when you think about it.
Basically, right now, as you told me before, the company itself they try to integrate to like international market. And what kind of strategy you have? Like you gonna promote Brazilian business in foreign companies, or you gonna bring foreign investors, foreign technology to Brazil? Like, what is the strategy right now?
Yeah, it's a good straight. It's a two-way street. It's a two-way street. So our company, we have our own networks of farms, but also the company also is very well known in the agricultural community. So the largest itinerant agriculture podcast in Brazil is done by our company as well. So we've been working quite a lot, working on marketing quite a bit, and also raising the profile of agriculture. So, for example, foreign companies who want to come in and establish their product in Brazil, actually coming in through the podcast, being a sponsor, or even talking about their product on that and how it's been applied as well, because the idea behind the podcast is to educate people about all aspects of the agriculture industry as well. So that could be a good gateway into getting exposure in Brazil for your product as well. And also through our company, we have lots of partnerships uh, with other agriculture companies or farmers as well. So there's always scope for networking as well. But for us, it's a two-way street. In one sense, we would love to attract more foreign investment here in Brazil. It's a lucrative business. And actually, I think if we could get foreign investors to come in, that will work better for Brazilian farmers, because Brazilian interest rates from banks are not very business friendly. However, foreign investors wanting to come in and partner, for us, we see that as a win-win situation as well. So, but also Brazil is a giant in agriculture, so it has experience to share, it has technology to share. So we'd really love to, take part in forums where we can interact with people from, agriculture in different places. Today, a team from our company has gone to Israel to learn about irrigation, because obviously in Israel they've done a very good job of cultivating in deserts, whereas places in Brazil can be very arid. Nowhere near as bad as Israel, but they've gone there to learn more about that technology to implement in dry areas in Brazil, for example. So, as I say, it's a two-way street.
Oh, cool. Thanks that, Jimmy, that you mentioned about Israel and about technology. And my next question is going to be about like how innovative the company itself. Like, do you implement new technology in agriculture? Like, maybe you can share some cases when you like recently like implement something like in this, I believe, old-fashioned agriculture business in Brazil, because I believe here it's most of the owners is like old guys. They don't really close to technology. So how it works right now?
Yeah, the reality is actually, so I've been to a fair few farms around Brazil, but also a lot of agriculture conventions as well. And because of the sheer size of the farmland, particularly in the northeast of Brazil, in the north of Brazil, you need big machines. So it's very common to see, huge machinery, very high tech. When you go in one of these tractors, it almost looks like a spaceship inside as well. So Brazil has moved away from those days of having, I think there were negative images in the past of, hundreds of guys in a sugar cane field chopping away, whereas actually, modern machinery is used. Obviously, there's a lot of technology in the production of seeds as well. Maintenance, storage as well. Exploring as well with different companies now. Technology in order, the use. We're using irrigation technology, so there's both pivots and underground droplets as well, which different nutrients and things can be applied. There's an intelligence behind that as well, but also starting to explore the possibility of other of more sustainable and precise irrigation technology that I'm not a scientist. I'm going to sound like a layperson here, which moves the water molecules to be more efficient, to not only make it use less water, but also more productivity as well. Within the. I mean, I guess we've been very good at it goes into that, but we're looking to apply more sustainable. I think it's going to be the emphasis is sustainability, and also use energy from waste or organic materials, sort of produced in the production on the farm as well. So we want to see that as being the future. Not only being environmentally conscious of the areas and preservation areas, on using sustainable techniques when it comes to water and any other resources that are being used in the process.
We lost you for a while because I think in connection is not really good in Florida right now. But I hope it's going to be smooth later. All right. If something happened, like you guys who listen our conversation right now, we're gonna have record of this meeting, and I'm gonna share with everyone in the channel. So no worries about this. If anyone has any questions, just leave in in the comments of in the channel. So I will able to read, or you just raise your hand and I give you opportunity to speak and ask your question. So, all right, about technology, I understand. And do you have a big team right now who focus on innovation and technology, or how it's structured right now as a company itself? Is it focus on I don't know?
Yeah, as a company, there's some stuff that we're subcontract out. So what tends to happen is customers will come, and maybe they'll have a land that is designated farmland, but is not being produced at the moment, or they don't have the finances to start cultivating on this land. And we would it may be the case that we would usually give a consultancy. We would do like a viability project, see how the land can most be used, what kind of projects we could implement there, and where need be, we will call in specialists from certain areas as well. So we have a technical team that does that whole viability study on the farmland. We go there, we do soil samples, we see what is best for it to produce, how much of the farm should be allocated for cultivation, how much of the farm can be allocated to, cattle rearing, for instance, what sort of infrastructure is needed. So when it comes to the technology side, we're always on the lookout for, the best and most innovative companies in Brazil who could come and partner with us in that as well. So the structure of the company at present is we have those technical teams who go give the consultancy. We have marketing teams. We have finance in some cases to help capture resources for farms so that they can develop as well. And we have a media side as well. Fighting for the cause of the agriculture industry in Brazil, educating people about that as well, but also becomes a great way of networking with different companies, different people who are interested, and a lot of business is actually done through that as well.
Oh, and I get it. Like I get inside of the picture of the company itself, and. Do you participate in events? Like, do you have here in Brazil events for agriculture where owners of farms or maybe you can share something, because I know only one probably conference in São Paulo, but I don't really know a lot.
There are quite a few events around different places in Brazil. So a few weeks ago, I was at an event called AgriShow in Ribeirão Preto in São Paulo. So that nationally, that's where most business is done. Not the largest numerically in terms of visitors, but at all these events, you tend to get thousands of people who come, and you will get people from all different, representing all different parts of industry in agriculture. So you'll have at these events, you'll have, KC, John Deere, all your big machine companies coming to present their products to farmers, to those who are there. You would have technology companies talking about their different types of technology, related to all sorts of, parts of that, whether that's pesticides or...
May I ask you, what was the purpose to attend this event? Why agriculture company like yours attend events in São Paulo? What is the main reason? Are you looking for technology in this events?
And just to say that, it's a mixture of things, really. Networking, and seeing what technology is being offered as well. So it's great way to connect with people and see innovation in the market as well.
Cool.
Just to say, these events happen all over Brazil.
All over Brazil. All right. And because your company is representing focus on south of Brazil, how you collaborate with other farms or other companies in agriculture? Do you have some meetings or association where you share something, or is it you all separate?
Maybe different, because there are large agriculture families in Brazil. They don't always talk together. They know who each other are, and they're very well known. Our company's been doing more to bring them together, in fact, and explore joint ventures. But our company is also very proactive at getting around different parts of Brazil. So just to give you an idea, the week before last, our CEO was in Pará, in the Amazon, in the north of Brazil. And then a few days later, he was in the very south of Brazil, in Rio Grande do Sul, and then he met me here in Santa Catarina. So We have partners all over Brazil, whether that will be agriculture farmers, cattle herders, and just working on building more of a network to do business together as well. So, and it's worth saying as well, in the south of Brazil, when large agriculture families want to expand their business, they don't necessarily look, because it's very hard now and very expensive to find farmland in the south of Brazil. So people, to expand your operation, you would look to the north of Brazil to acquire land that is cheaper there to cultivate. So, I think...
Yeah, I heard everything. Now it's fine. So may I ask you, because you quite sometimes already in this business, and maybe you already collaborate with others, is like, how many of farm owners or like companies who work with farms speak English? How easy to communicate with them? Maybe they don't speak English. Maybe they like present it in LinkedIn. Like, is it like all them like old-fashioned and stay like in WhatsApp, or they like easy to reach?
Yeah, I think it's all about having a good network actually to reach them. And I think English in general in Brazil, it's kind of hit and miss. That's part of why I'm working with the company, because they wanted someone who was bilingual, who could bridge that gap. I think that is English proficiency is a challenge in Brazil, and even among at times, good professionals don't always have a good level of English. But then, depending on the particular farming family or company, they may have someone, because a lot of previous generations made a lot of money out of agriculture. Often their children would have studied outside Brazil, in the US or something like that. So there are instances like that where some in the farming family themselves have spent time out of Brazil. But I would say on the whole, it is a challenge to find people with good English sometimes, and to arrive direct in the farmers as well. And I think often what happens, people's contact with the agri industry, is probably through traders buying commodities, which they have that logistics, but so they're the kind of gatekeepers or the mediators between farm and foreign buyers. So I think the best thing in terms of looking to get in to Brazil is contact someone like myself, or if you have similar contacts that are already doing something similar, I would go in that way. It's very hard just to go directly, or just to go directly to a particular maybe farming family or company. I would say agriculture in Brazil is very relational as well. But once you get into it, people are very friendly and will open the door to you. But it's about knowing those people. It's about making that connection.
Okay, great. And where is it all located? Like all these families, owners, they usually they have offices in in São Paulo, Rio, or they usually stay in Seoul, south or north?
Yeah, that's a good question. Some of them, if they have big operations in the north, they have a base there, but they may only actually be in Brazil when they're required to be there, and may live in Orlando as well. That sometimes happens, but they will have big offices in those main cities near to their farming operations. So like Goiânia, where our company is situated, actually that's a very strategic place for agriculture industry to have an office, and Sao Paulo as well. Though Sao Paulo is more the kind of financial side, a lot of big and very well organized, because agriculture business isn't always that well organized or audited. I think some companies need to get their act together with that, but those that may well have an office in Sao Paulo as well.
Cool. Thank you, Jimmy. And to be honest, I'm almost in a shortage of my personal questions, and I hope someone has their own questions. My last question probably is going to be, what's the main challenge right now for agriculture in general in Brazil? Like what you see, like people talking about, what is like main focus of agriculture companies in Brazil?
But the price has fallen quite significantly, really. So the price at which people are able to sell has significantly dropped. So that's been, thrown a spanner in the work for, people's projections and budgets for, for certain businesses and things. I think another issue is perhaps the agriculture industry organizing itself better in terms of its public image, because it's often attacked, and I think there's a lot of political motivation or activist motivation behind that for being unsustainable and environmentally unfriendly, which actually is not always the case. The farmers I know and work with, are very compliant with regulation, very concerned about questions of sustainability and things. But I think they're an industry that haven't organized themselves well in terms of communication. So internationally, maybe when people accuse them of different things, and particularly when that comes to deforestation, which is obviously is a real issue, but maybe criticism is unfairly thrown upon the agriculture community at large, just because of a few bad actors. So they could do more to organize themselves politically, to defend themselves better, both nationally and internationally as well. Now, I was going to say another challenge is the logistic as well. I mean, only when you really travel and you get a notion of how large these spaces are. So.
Yeah, I travel and
so
I know.
I'll just say, coming from England, I was going to say, coming from England, you have this notion that farms, they're big, but they're not that big. And then when you come to Brazil and you could be driving for over 100 kilometers and you're still on the same farm in some instances.
Yeah. I always try to say people that there's a farm in Brazil. I'm not sure is it true or not, but people told me it's true. The size of the France, not Paris, but the France. So I don't know. Is it true? Like, do you know, like farms like such big size in Brazil?
I couldn't tell you if an individual farm was that big, but there would be whole areas cultivated for agriculture, sure, that are that size. Whether it's all or one farm or not, I don't know, but there are some huge, absolutely huge farms.
Okay, guys. I'm out of my questions, and I hope some of you have questions for Jimmy. I can allow to speak everyone who I know who's here. So if you have some questions, just go ahead and ask questions.
Yeah, actually, I had a question. I sent it to you. Hello, Jimmy. I was curious, how is the current AgroTech market in Brazil? Do they develop solutions in-house, in the country in this case, or are they importing lots of solutions from other countries?
I didn't catch all of that. Solutions for
agriculture in general, in terms of technology, do they have in the country developing there, or?
Yes, no, that's a good question. Yeah, there are national companies who are developing, quite cutting edge from what I can see, and also foreign companies as well. So we've connected quite a bit with some foreign companies, whether they'll be Indian or European as well, or even Israeli as well, particularly when it comes to irrigation, who are installing themselves in Brazil. So I think it is a good two-way street in terms of Brazilian technology and innovation, but also companies from outside as well, bringing their technology here. So I believe Brazil is very open to outside companies as well.
George, answer your question.
Yeah, thank you very much. It does. Understood.
I can hear you.
Hello, everyone. Actually, I have some issues with the company who produce fertilizers, and actually, my main big question is about like the possibility to cooperate with Brazilian farmers about fertilizers like nutritionals, and is there any way to cooperate somehow on this?
Okay, I didn't get all of that, but it was about cooperating with Brazilian farmers in the area of importing fertilizers.
Yes, Mexican producers.
Yeah, no, certainly. I know a lot of farmers do import fertilizer from abroad, particularly like Russia, Ukraine, that area as well. So I think, I think there is scope for that. So they have huge ports in Brazil, both for grains going out of Brazil and other commodities, but also for fertilizer to come in as well. So there's definitely.
Cool. All right, I will connect you guys. So who else has any questions regarding to agriculture? See, like, Tiana is here.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Actually, I was trying to speak or like to have a question for Jimmy. I believe like the main purpose of this meeting is like try to maybe like to collect investors, like to help farmers in Brazil. But do you have like a ROI plan for this kind of investors? I don't know. I need to know more. I gotta tell you, I have a company, and it's related to financial system, you know. So I manage investments. So I want to know like how can we like help you like in Brazil, but how can be like also be profitability for investors.
Cool. Yeah, just to say there are lots of opportunities to invest in farm operations in Brazil as well, or even purchase a farm with a project that's structured. But another time, would be happy to arrange a call with someone, or Anthony can put us in contact. And
cool. Yeah. About investments in general, it's a good topic. Probably we're gonna make another meeting about constructions and like real estate, because it's like also like huge topic here.
Yeah, worth saying that Brazil,
that sounds
in terms
really
of,
interesting. So maybe if we could have like a special contact with you, that would be awesome.
Brazil is one of the best markets in the world and is cited as the best emerging country, the emerging country with the best property market in the world, if that makes sense as well. So it's worth exploring here.
Great. All right. But yeah, it probably is going to be next week already for property and for real estate. So if you have any questions, like now it's like the perfect time to ask. I know, Fernando, you was talking about agriculture, in another chat. And I know, Tatiana, you also probably have some questions regarding to agriculture. Maybe you can present your own project shortly and ask some questions regarding your. All right, so no more questions. I think we have to move forward. Thank you, Jimmy, for your time that you share with us some really important and really interesting information. I hope we will have like another like more private call with you and like bring people who like have like really interest in agriculture and find a way how to collaborate and how to work together. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that would be great. And I promise I'll find someone with a better internet connection.
Yeah. I think next time we're gonna like just test it first, how its internet connection is make it next. Okay, cool. Thank you everyone who show up. If you have any questions regarding to launch in new country, new market, like don't hesitate, contact me. If you have any questions regarding to agriculture and you want to ask Jimmy personally, again, contact me. I'm share with you your his Telegram or WhatsApp or LinkedIn, whatever. And have a good evening.